Yo.
Hello. I'm going to say it straight up. If you see me wiping my forehead with this towel during the session, my temperature has risen after I just got back from the gym. So I feel like Fat Man Scoop with his towel on his head, but
Tell me about Fat Man Scoop, bro.
I got a very funny story about Fat Man Scoop that I'll tell one day in one of our Friday night bands and drinks sessions. He's a very annoying character. All right, let's get into this market. It's Tex and Ads here with you. Another big show tonight. We're going to do a quick wrap up of the market. Obviously, the last couple of days have been big in crypto land. Ads' update last night was pretty much bang on the money, and the Calls Inside Discord over the last few days have been absolute fire. So thank you to all you boys and girls who have been posting and charting inside Discord. This is why we do what we do, to see the activity that goes on during moves like this and the support from everyone when things like this happen. So fear not, if you have lost a little bit of money in the last couple of days, that's okay. There's always another trade. There's always another opportunity to make it back. If you have questions about anything, come into the Discord. We're there all the time. Happy to answer anything and to help you mitigate and navigate these future dumps that we will no doubt be experiencing on BTC. The first question we always get asked is this the bottom, or are we dumping? Is this going to continue further? Best thing to do in an instance like this, if you have lost money or you've sold out of positions, is let the market simmer. Let everything just chill out for a little bit, and then let the market tell you where it wants to go after all the volatility has subsided. So, of course, if you like what Ads and I do here and all the updates that we provide every single day, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button and join us. This morning, Ads, we dropped a brand new video on YouTube as well from our UTG episode number 1 on how to use the fib extension tool, which is a brilliant little tool for identifying areas of hidden support and resistance, particularly with the coins that are in price discovery like BTC or soon to be ETH, no doubt. But Bitcoin Ads, where are we, man? We are just shy of this supply with a pretty perfect touch off the 50 in this demand zone here.
Well, the first thing I'll do, excuse me, is nip up that level of supply because it has been broken. It is the last one we identified. So the next level that I am really looking at is the level around 37,350, which is up here. That would complete a decent market cycle from that dump at 30k back up to about 37,300. Look, that's seemingly the direction that we're heading in now. So two things are pretty much going to happen over the next little bit, or over the next day or so, as we move towards this level of supply. Two things. First thing is, if we come up here, test the negative 27 and of course our level of supply here, and we start to make, or we even make a wick or even some price action through that level's finished. I'll be looking at the next one above it, which is the retest of 41k, pretty much at 41k, which is around here. That would be the level that I'm looking at. So basically coinciding nicely with these Fibonacci extension points as well. The most notable one, however, being the one at the major pivot point, again at 40k. This is the one, it's on a higher, it's the highest level that that we have at the moment. It is the highest quality of supply that we have at the moment. So, you know, as these things go, these are like price magnets in terms of these supplies and these demand levels. So as we were coming down from this top, this is the next, or this was the most major pivot level in the market. Therefore, it is the highest quality level of demand. So if you haven't watched our supply and demand video, you can go to our YouTube channel and have a look at that. But I speak very regularly about levels of demand and supply being of high quality. They are formed on market pivots, and of course that those rules come to fruition at the moment, where we have that bounce very nicely off that level at 30k. So the next one, all in all, in short, too long don't read, all in all I'm looking towards 37,350 Thai for the next movement up for BTC.
Yep, looks pretty good to me. One thing that we hypothesized, or that we were looking for, if ads keeps that straight, that's right, was potentially like a head and shoulders formation that we were looking for. The best possible outcome is that head and formation is invalidated, and as Ad said, we continue back up towards this sort of pivot in the market here at around that 38.6 is sort of where I'm looking if we can break through where we are now. If we do put on Unicon, our custom indicator, this thing has been on absolute fire as of late, particularly on the smaller time frames, giving us the perfect down signal here yesterday. Where we are now is obviously this little bit of an MA cluster and this hold up here. What we're looking for, that this is the 10 and 20 MA, by the way. What we really want to see is an uptick on the MAs, and for them to cross above, and then we start using this slow MA as a level of support rather than a level of resistance that we're seeing now. So yeah, definitely looking for this 37.3, 38 sort of ish level to be broken and perhaps retested before the continuation back up towards this 41k level, which of course you would anticipate will then start dragging up the majors like your LTCs, your ETH, USD. ETH had a nice reaction, and we said earlier in the day today, when the minute that I saw ETH starting to run, it pre-ran BTC a little bit, which we're going to have a look at ETH in just a second as well. They're swapping roles a little bit now, so I'm paying close attention to both BTC and ETH to see what they do in unison to one another. But of course, as we said, as BTC starts to run back up, most of the USD majors will run with it, you would imagine. But a nice little recovery across a number of these alts here. But I think it would be foolish, on the off chance that we have had a lot of people FOMOing into this market, or a lot of over leveraged longs, to still anticipate downside moves or potential, double or triple bottoms to this area here. So if you do have a little bit of fiat deployed, it might not be unwise to still place a few lower buys just in case there's a little bit of fuckery overnight. But steamroller giving us the signal. You can see where we are now, the RSI acting as a level of resistance. So we know that this particular level here, and of course this supply zone, is going to be significant.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was really what I was getting at in terms of this level making the right shoulder, of course. And we've got those valid levels, of course, and the RSI. Thank you for pointing out the RSI, the 50 level, the RSI, that median area is going to be very important if we do break past this level of this RSI level of 50, it could be a decent one to watch for the anticipation of the movement to the upside for BTC.
Yes, sir, indeed. All right, let's get into FUSD now, and you'll see what I mean. Well, they are very, very similar, but ETH on that previous 4-hour candle, and even indeed the buy up was pretty swift. We had a break back down to that 936 level, a very quick little buy up from there, very nice bullish sort of engulfing candle, and then here we are now in a very similar situation to BTC, almost identical in the sense that we've got that 50 RSI rejection and that MA cluster rejection, and also that previous high level where we've got, you'll notice above where we've got the 27 fib extension and the 61 extension. That's because we haven't moved our fib since, I think, probably early January or something like that. So you can see how well that 50 was respected in that particular occasion, Ads.
Absolutely. And it's good that you pointed that out, because we haven't, like you said, we haven't moved this Fibonacci since the 4th of Jan. That's when that's when it was formed. So that's when I would have drew it in for just like a sort of a glimpse into see where we could put some sink bids in. And of course, from that level, we got the swing down to 61, although very, very short, and then a movement to the upside where we got rejected very nicely, as I might add, on that level of supply there. That's why we draw them like we do. But in any case, right now, looking at the 50 Fibonacci, so in all, what I want to do is I want to actually get rid of these fib levels, because we can draw them in from the entire move. So we can go from basically swing low, we'll go down from down here to here, and there it is. That 61.8 magnet level was the one to look out for. So if we're taking in this entire account, we can have our retracement all the way down from the 38 to the 50 to the 61 and still be able to maintain the upwards momentum. That remains to be seen, however, of course, not discounting the fact that it could be a lower high that's being formed, around maybe the 23, or even now as we see it getting rejected on that 20 MA. However, I'm not saying it's being rejected now. I'm just saying it could be that lower high scenario, as Ty would suggest when he says, fuckery over the course of this week. So we're looking at something like this, I guess, to continue our movement down. This could be invalidated, however, very easily. I'm not going to deny that, by us testing this 23 and breaking through it over the course of this evening and into the remainder of the week. We just need to make that call, of course, when we see it, and of course it needs to happen when we do have some decent volume into the market, and of course that really comes to fruition on a Tuesday night, as we have observed over the last 3 years.
Yeah. One thing that I will say for any sort of swing traders out there, and particularly in this market where we are having quite quick volatile moves, whether it be bullish or bearish moves, is I've frequently been using more in the last little bit for shorter time frame trades, the 1 hour to spot divergence or to spot steamroller, giving us quicker signals for entry than waiting for the 4 hour to give us confirmation. Having a look at our oscillators there, yes, our CCI is quite overextended. Our RSI was near to being bottom, but we know we can breach outside those parallel channels quite often. And Steamroller, as we've said a million times, gives quite a good level of support on these parallel channels. But if we just do go quickly down to the 1 hour time frame, this is where your oscillators and having things like your divergence, or your CCI rather, for divergence is a great little tool. And what you can even do is use, if you just zoom out just a touch on Steamroller, bro, if you could, just down here, you'll even notice that Steamroller is sort of giving us little divergent signals as well. So quite clear there on your RSI, on your CCI, and even on your Steamroller with that double bottom. Steamroller loves to double bottom on the smaller time frames before a continuation to the upside or the downside. You can sort of see it here, and you can see it here as well. So when you are looking for those more immediate entries or slightly earlier confirmations of entry. If you are playing at a little bit more of a risk threshold, the 1 hour has been a really great little tool for me as of late to spot these earlier entries rather than, potentially giving up a couple $100 moves in order to wait for a confirmation on the higher timeframes, which is still a very good thing. Don't get me wrong. If you're a beginner trader, wait for your 4 hour confirmations. That's great. And then that'll give you more macro overview of what's happening. But the 1 hours have been an awesome tool. And can I also just point out, we've a couple of weeks ago, we did a beta group for our newest custom indicator. Someone called it the Holy Grail the other day, which is very flattering. It has been an absolute beast on these smaller time frames. So to all those guys that have been helping us in the beta channel, thank you so much for everything that you've been doing for us. And even on the 4 hour time frame now on Ethereum and BTC in particular, it has been a real godsend. So keep your eyes open for that in the very near future when we look to release that. And all you beta guys have given us all the incredible feedback to make adjustments on this. Thank you even more so.
Just a quick tip before we move on to the next pair. If you go over to the 4 hour, if you're using Steamroller at the moment, you can go into the settings of Steamroller down here, and you can change the resolution if you like. If you want a little bit more updated signals on Steamroller, you can always change the Steamroller resolution to a lower time frame that you're on currently.
Yeah, and you can also from that you can set signals based on that as well, or set alerts based on that, which is really, really cool little feature. You just right click on it, add an alert. You can set a webhook or whatever it is that you might want to do, and ping it straight to your Discord. And we've got some other pretty exciting little things in the works for more up-to-date alert signals as well, coming hopefully soon.
Yep.
All right. Reg market stuff. Do we want to get into the DXY? A lot of people talking about the correlation between the DXY moves, or the US dollar moves, and Bitcoin moves. So a lot of interest on the DXY and the US dollar at the moment. Ads over to you, broski.
So of course, regulated market, not financial advice, just ideas and opinions of Team UTG. Of course, we were looking at this level of supply last night during our update. A lot of people watched last night's update, so thank you for that. But we were looking at this swing, or this pivot point for this level of supply. We've got that pivot down, pivot back up. This is one pivot, of course, and then down again. So this was the next level that I drew in last night. And of course, we got that come to fruition very, very easily over the course of the last day or so, should we say it. And that was a good result, in my opinion. Right now, however, we are observing the Steamroller indicator being a little bit over bought there. So we could probably expect it to come and fill this gap that we've made in the DXY price action there, and that'll probably occur over the course of this evening and into Wednesday morning, I think, as the London session, I believe, is underway, and of course the American session will take over also. So that is the level that I'm looking towards. A very, very easy observation to make at the moment. And these keep changing color, man. These keep changing color. There we go. All right. So that's the first level that I'm looking for. And if we're looking for a little bit more in terms of information there, we can always draw our fibs. And that would be bang on the 38 Fibonacci, so 38, 50, 61 for the pullback of this event, if we are to continue up and retest that level of supply, at least for the next market cycle on this time frame, I guess you could call it that. Or the next thing would be for the DXY, of course, is to continue its bearish bias. So if I scroll out on the macro scale of things, we have been bearish for quite some time. Since the 23rd of March last year, so very, very long time. We've had multiple oversold signals on Steamroller. It just doesn't care about that. As you could probably expect, BTC doesn't care about the overbought indicators at the moment either, so there's always that. But in any case, the DXY looking like the opposite sort of trend is occurring, and we are to see probably a little bit of pullback towards this 38, 50, 61 for the immediate term. But what I'm really looking for is whether or not we are going to negate this long-term bearish bias, or we are going to continue to the upside with all the stigma and all with the situation in America at the moment. So I'm not a politician. I don't know all that jazz, but I follow the news quite regularly. Of course, as we all do, we all know what's going on. So it does occur to me that we'll probably see some more downside on the macro scale of things for the DXY for quite some time. However, that remains to be seen. We will have a look and see and visit this every single day. We're on the air tie, I think.
Absolutely. Perfect.
A nice quick update for this evening. BTC, Ethereum, the FX market, of course, we'll keep it nice and short at 20 minutes, I reckon.
For sure. And if you want to see more of what we're doing here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and sign up to get updates every single time that we go live. And of course, if you want help, if you have questions, if you're not feeling positive about this market right now, it doesn't matter what the question is. We have probably one of the most incredible communities anywhere online. There's 100%. Zero judgment. So if you are new to this market, come on over, have a chat to ask questions, untext, this is ads, ping us. There's some incredible people in that group that are willing to help you any day of the week. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you for tomorrow's update.
Bye for now.
Bye.